The movie begins with an 18-year-old girl named Elliot who is riding a boat with her friends Ro and Rosie. We learn that Elliot will be leaving the village in 3 weeks because she's moving to the city to continue her studies. So Elliot decides that she celebrates with her friends before leaving and goes to the cafe and meets a woman named Chelsea to buy narcotic herbs from her, and at the same time Elliot's family is waiting for her, and her brother Spencer makes a cake for her to celebrate her entering university, and it appears that Elliot's relationship with her family is not good, and this is because she does not communicate with them constantly. So Tom, Elliot's father, talks to Spencer and tries to reassure him and tells him that Elliot will come on time. But that doesn't happen because at that time, Elliot returns to her friends after buying the herbs. Then they get on the boat and head to the forest to camp there. At that point, they boil the herbs Elliot brought in water and drink it. At night, they light a fire and sit around it, and that's when the effects of the herbs start to show on Ro. Suddenly, Ro gets up and starts dancing and singing in a funny way. Then she goes for a walk in the forest, while Rosie lies down on the ground and starts hallucinating so intensely that she falls off the tree trunk she was sitting on. Elliot mocks them, saying she doesn't feel any effect from the herbs, but she's shocked when someone suddenly appears next to her. Terrified, she asks her, "Who are you, and what brought you to this place?" The woman tells her that she is actually herself, but at the age of 39. Elliot mocks her, thinking this is just a hallucination caused by the herbs, but the older Elliot shows her a scar on her body that she got when she was 9 years old. To convince her even more, she starts talking to her about many things that happened in her life. At that moment, the younger Elliot still doesn't fully grasp what's happening. Suddenly, the effect of the herbs kicks in, and she accepts the presence of the older Elliot in front of her. She moves closer to her and tells her that she's happy she's here. Then she starts asking her about what will happen in the future, whether she'll get married, have a family, and have children or not. On top of that, she asks her to tell her the name of a company that will be successful in the future, so she can invest money in it now and become rich. But the older Elliot calms her down and asks her not to get overly excited. She tells her that she won't get married or start a family, and instead, she'll be busy with her studies and the PhD dissertation she's working on. Young Elliot feels disappointed when she hears this and asks older Elliot to give her some advice to help improve her life. Older Elliot tells her that she must stay away from a guy named Chad whom she'll meet in a few days. Young Elliot asks who Chad is and how she's going to meet him, but older Elliot refuses to tell her anything about him and insists that she just follow her advice. While they're talking, young Elliot gets a call from her mother, but she refuses to answer it. Then older Elliot tells her that she needs to improve her relationship with her family, especially her mother, because her mother loves her very much. She advises her to get closer to her mom and talk to her more. After that, they both go into the tent to sleep. At that moment, young Elliot asks older Elliot if she'll be happy in her life at the age of 39. Older Elliot replies that she will be happy and content with her life, but she also explains that the pace of life will be different from how it was during her teenage years. That's because she'll be busy and under pressure all the time, and she'll feel like time is passing quickly and that she's growing older day by day. Then, older Elliot takes young Elliot's phone and saves her own number on it. The next day, Elliot wakes up to find Satra and Rosie packing up their things to leave. After that, Elliot returns home, and her mother comes into her room. She asks her how she spent it. Then she tells her that her brother Spencer made her a cake, and that they were all waiting for her to arrive at the time she had said. So Elliot apologizes to her mother and tells her that she went on a trip with her friends to the forest, and that's why she couldn't make it on time. Her mother accepts her apology and leaves the room to give her some space. After that, Elliot goes to ride the tractor and drives it around her father's farm. And after she says she's done, she goes to the lake and gets into the water, but she gets terrified when someone suddenly emerges from under the water. She gets even more scared when the person introduces himself and says his name is Chad and that he works for her father on the farm, and she opens. She remembers then Elliot the Elder's warning to her, so she quickly gets out of the water, leaves him, and walks away. After that, young Elliot grabs her phone and sends a message to Elliot the Elder, telling her in the message that she met Chad at the lake. Elliot the Elder replies and tells her to stay away from him. At that moment, young Elliot gets upset and throws the phone into the water. Later, we see her in her room and we find out that she took the phone out of the water and placed it in a bowl full of rice. She did that so the rice would absorb the water from the phone and it would start working again. But Spencer sees her and tells her that she doesn't need to put the phone in rice, reminding her that the phone she has is actually water resistant. Elliot thanks him, takes the phone out of the rice, and calls Elliot the Elder. When she answers, she yells at her and asks who she is and what she wants. Elliot the Elder asks her to calm down and starts to explain who she is. She says she never imagined she could contact her through the phone. Then young Elliot tells her that she thinks she's just a figment of her imagination and that everything happening is just hallucinations caused by the herbs she drank. So older Elliot changes the subject and asks if she followed her advice and got closer to her family. She reminds her that she needs to get closer to her mother and talk to her. That's when young Elliot starts thinking that older Elliot is telling her to spend time with her mother because her mother is going to die. But older Elliot reassures her and tells her that's not going to happen and that she just wants her to treat her mother better. Then she ends the call. After that, it's clear that Elliot still doesn't fully grasp what's happening, but she decides to follow older Elliot's advice and get closer to her family. So she goes to have dinner with them and feels happy and joyful to be surrounded by them. The next day, Elliot goes to her brother Max and tells him that she wants to come with him when he goes to play golf. Max agrees and takes her with him, and while Max is playing, Elliot asks him if he's going to miss her when she travels. Max shocks her by saying that he won't miss her at all. Elliot feels disappointed, but she becomes determined to improve her relationship with her brother. And that's because she's the reason her brother feels like her presence doesn't matter to him, since she had completely ignored her family for a long time. Later, Elliot goes to swim in the lake, but she's surprised when she sees Shadow coming to swim as well. She dives underwater so he won't see her, but then she sees something strange beneath the surface. She panics, comes up to the surface, and starts screaming. So Chad goes over to her to check if she's okay and to find out what happened. She tells him that she saw a snake underwater. Chad dives in to verify what she said and then comes back up holding a branch of an aquatic plant. He tells Elliot that she mistook the plant for a snake because of the poor visibility in the lake water. Chad keeps joking around with her and tells her that there aren't any snakes in the lake water at all. Then he says he saw her riding her boat on the lake and asks if she can take him for a ride, but Elliot refuses and tells him that she doesn't know him well enough yet. Besides, the boat's engine is broken anyway, so he offers to fix it for her. He tells her that he used to work with his father in a mechanic's workshop for a long time. Elliot agrees and takes him to the boat. There, Chad asks her if she's going to help her father run the farm. She tells him that she doesn't really want to do that because she's not interested in working in agriculture. So Chad asks her what she actually wants to do for work, and she tells him that she still doesn't know what she wants to do. Chad is surprised by her response and tells her that he thought she refused to run the farm because she had a specific ambition she wanted to pursue. Before she can reply, he tells her that he's finished fixing the engine. He asks her to go on a boat ride with him, but Elliot refuses, leaves him, and walks away. Later that night, young Elliot calls older Elliot and asks her why she told her to stay away from Chad and tells her that he fixed the boat engine for her that day. And when she got close to him and found him to be a polite and peaceful young man, older Elliot got upset and warned her not to get on the boat with Chad, then ended the call. Days go by and Elliot starts getting closer to her family. She regularly goes with Max to the golf course until one day she asks him why he's been avoiding her. He tells her about the bad experiences he had with her in addition to the fact that she always ignored him. So Elliot apologizes to Max for her bad behavior and for ignoring him all the time, and she promises that she won't repeat it again. Max accepts her apology and starts getting closer to her and talking with her. When they return home, Elliot sees her mother sitting alone, so she goes to her and sits beside her, joining her in what she's doing. Later that night, she goes. Elliot sits with her brother Spencer and they watch one of the movies he loves. The next day, Elliot wakes up and is surprised to find that her father has invited Chad to breakfast. She learns from her mother that Chad helped her father fix the tractor, and it becomes clear that Elliot's family is very fond of Chad because he's a hard-working and well-rounded young man. And he works while studying. After breakfast, Maxie invites Chad to go with him and Elliot to the golf course. There, Chad and Maxie talk about the topic of selling the farm, and Elliot is shocked when she hears this news. She runs to her father and asks him if he really put the farm up for sale, and her father is surprised by her sudden interest in the farm. By the farm, Elliot asks him if he's selling the farm because she refused to help him manage it. He tells her that she's not the reason, and he explains that he received an attractive offer and decided to accept it. He tells her that he thought she would be happy about the news. That's because she always says she wants to leave the village and live in the city. So Elliot tells him that she did say that, but she would never be happy if the farm were sold. So he says her father apologizes to her and tells her that he has already started the process. Elliot gets upset, leaves her father, and walks away feeling sad. She goes to her room and sends a voice message to the older Elliot telling her what happened. She asks if there's a way to stop the sale of the farm. At the end of the message, she asks her to reply. She tells her that she called her several times, but she didn't answer. After that, Elliot stays by the phone, waiting for a reply from the older Elliot, but it doesn't come. Then Elliot goes to sit at the farm feeling sad. At that moment, she sees Chad in front of her riding the tractor, so she goes to him and asks if he'd like to go on a boat ride with her. Chad agrees and goes with her. That's when Elliot tells him that she's upset and sad because the farm is going to be sold. She tells him that she really does want to go live in the city, but she thought the farm would always be there and that she'd be able to come back and spend her holidays there. Chad tells her that he understands how she feels and tries to comfort her, explaining that this is life and she has to adapt to her new situation. He also tells her that people don't realize the value of something until it's gone. Elliot is moved by his words and tells him. She thanks him for comforting her. The next day, Elliot sits with her mother, who starts telling her about her childhood. She tells her that raising her was especially difficult compared to her siblings. She says that Elliot was mischievous and very smart, and that she wouldn't fall asleep unless a specific song was sung to her. She recalls one night when she had to sing to her for 45 minutes straight, and how exhausted she was. She could barely stand on her feet, yet she pushed through and kept singing until Elliot finally fell asleep. Elliot is moved by this because she had previously complained to older Elliot about her mother, saying that her mom talks way too much, to the point that she once talked to her non-stop for 45 minutes. In that moment, Elliot feels guilty, realizing that she couldn't bear to listen to her mother talk, even though her mother had endured so much and gone through great hardship for her until she grew up. Elliot apologizes to her mother for every moment she was distant from her, and she promises that she will always stay by her side and never leave her. Then she gets up and hugs her. The next day, Elliot takes Chad, and they get on the boat and go on a cruise. It becomes clear that Elliot is very happy and enjoying her time with Chad, but suddenly the boat's engine falls into the water. Chad starts laughing at her, but then reassures her and tells her that his father's workshop has plenty of engines and that he'll get one for her from there. Suddenly, the weather changes and it starts raining on them, so they quickly head to Chad's house and change their clothes there. After that, they sit together in front of the boat and keep talking. Elliot is surprised when she finds out that Chad is studying at the same university she's going to attend. She gets really happy about the news, and it's clear that Chad is also happy because they'll be continuing their studies together. At that moment, they exchange admiring glances, and it's obvious that they like each other, but neither of them says anything. Afterward, Chad takes Elliot home. But before they arrive, she asks him to turn back and leave because she doesn't want any of her family members to see them together. After Chad leaves, Elliot is shocked when she finds the older Elliot standing in front of her. She asks her where she's been all this time. The older Elliot tells her that she was on a meditation retreat, and when she came back and found a message from her, she got worried, and that's why she showed up. The younger Elliot tells her that she followed all the advice she had given her. And she tells her that she got closer to her family and felt a new kind of happiness when she did. But she also tells her that she tried to stay away from Chad, but she couldn't. That's because she was attracted to him and started to fall in love with him. She says she tried to find even one flaw in him so she could distance herself. But she was surprised to find that he's an ideal guy, someone any girl would wish for. She also tells her that she wants to know the reason why she wants her to stay away from him, especially since she can no longer imagine her life without him. Then her older sister shocks her and tells her that Chad is going to die. She explains that this is going to be a very personal experience for her, and that's why she warned her not to get close to him. At that moment, deep sadness appears on little Yuto's face. But she tells the older Yuto that she's going to continue her relationship with Chad, and that she's going to allow herself to love him even more. Suddenly, Chad shows up and he's holding little Yuto's chart that she had forgotten at his house. At that moment, little Yuto is shocked when she sees Chad greeting the older Yuto. and the idea doesn't seem impossible. The idea that he might be able to see her as herself, but she moves past it and introduces herself to him as her aunt. The older Yuto is deeply moved seeing Chad in front of her, so she tells him that she's very happy to have met him and gotten to know him. She gets closer to him and hugs him as if she's saying goodbye. Then she leaves him with the younger Yuto and walks away, crying and saying, young Elliot is also deeply moved with tears welling up in her eyes. Chad asks her if she's okay. She pulls herself together and reassures him that she's fine. At that moment, Elliot confesses to Chad that she loves him, and he tells her that he loves her too and that he can't live without her. After that, Elliot continues her life normally with her family, with her beloved Chad by her side. It's clear that they're all happy. On the big day, sends a message to the younger Elliot telling her that this will be her final message to her. She lets her know that after this, she will disappear from her life forever. The older Elliot admits to the younger Elliot that she was right when she said she would hold on to her love for Chad no matter what. She asks her to live out her days with him because she herself will live the best days of her life. Then we see Elliot riding the boat, sailing across the lake, and it becomes clear that Elliot is saying goodbye to the lake because they're moving to the city. Elliot looks very happy and overjoyed, having decided to ignore the future and everything that might happen in it and to live her life with the person she loves, and that's how the movie ends.